Okay, we are live with one another Data Jazzers live from Redmond, and today we are still collecting people and picking it up. Uh, Jay, our co-pilot, is with us. I think Jay, your one, this one is lagging, but this one is much better.
I don't know what's going on today, August. I
Yeah,
have no idea what's going on today with me.
and so we are having slight problems. Nicola will join as well in a minute or two. Maybe we'll have some more guests. Let's see. But
Oh
I
man.
know pretty much. I know what's the reason. The reason is value filter behavior actually, and how I know it's super complicated thing. I think it's the biggest announcement I ever saw in a Power BI announcement. Biggest amount of text explaining some feature. And today with us we have Tatiana as well, and Sean is just joining. So, Jay, would you like to do
Yes.
intro on this one?
Yes. Sorry. I'm trying to manage two laptops at the same time and it's lagging all over the place. I believe there's a little lag now. Sorry for the weird viewpoint now because I'm just using this laptop on the side while my main laptop is booting. Anyway, yes, value filter behavior. This is an exciting one. And this is actually has been a long time coming, and you might know about auto exist. Have you ever heard of that, August, before?
Yep.
Yeah. So auto exist is an optimization technique that we use that basically whenever there's two filters from the same table, Power BI tries to optimize, the DAX engine tries to optimize that and combines the filters into one. Now that's a great idea. And we believe it was a great design choice at that time, but it turned out it was for how users are using our product today and how often this happens, it turns out it might not be the right choice. So we, with value filter behavior, have now built the capability for you to decide whether or not that optimization technique is being applied. So do you want to combine these filters into one, or do you want to keep them separate? And by doing that, you have the choice now to do which one you want. So I hope that serves as a quick intro of what we're talking about today. And
Yeah. So this
have
is as we discussed once. So this is one of the features we everybody needed, but they didn't know they needed.
yes, exactly. This is one of those things that you didn't know you actually wanted, right? So um, this is exactly what those things are. So it's an optimization technique that you have been not even aware of, maybe you have not even seen, you might not even know about. When if you're just a casual user, if you're more of an expert, you might know about this, and then you probably found your way around it, or have been burned by it a couple times, and now we're giving you the option to say, well, you can now turn this optimization technique off, so then you have more control over how this engine actually behaves. So I think it's a great feature for those people that have been quote unquote burned by the value filter behavior or the auto exist behavior that we used to have and which you couldn't configure. So and then we have Tatiana here who built that. Yes, thank you for joining, Tatiana. And Sean, I don't know if Sean is already connected or no.
Sean
But
is connected, but he doesn't have a camera on.
Yeah,
okay.
I have some device issues. Sorry
Hey,
for that.
Sean.
Hi,
Okay.
Sean.
So Sean is here as well. And they both, it's actually really cool that we have both of them here because they represent both sides of the house that worked on this. So it's both a UI problem, like how do I make sure that the customer understands that they can select the box and blah, blah. So our desktop and our service needed to make some changes, and our engine needed to make some changes to even have this capability to turn this behavior on and off. So Tatiana did like one part of that and Sean did the other part of that. So together, these two engineers were the ones that actually built this whole thing. And then architects, so Jeffrey Wang was involved, and Marius Dumitru, and stupid PMs like me were also a little bit involved to try to build this. But the real rock stars of the show are these two up. Well, Tatjana above me and Sean to the other side of me. How do I point that way? So
nice to have you both. Nice to have you both. But just question, so anybody can pick it up. Any of you can pick it up. I already saw, although it's just announced a few days back, I already saw mixed emotions on social networks. So is this one of the features that people will struggle to figure out what is it actually doing? Because I know a lot of people were not even aware of auto exists.
Right. So if you were not aware, then you probably can, well, no, not probably. You can continue your life as is, and you will not have to care at all. This is a feature for those that were aware and were burned by it and want something different, right? So if you were blissfully unaware, please stay that way. Now, in the future, we will actually change our default from having this optimization technique, which we call coalesced filters, to independent filters, to separate filters. When that happens, we will do that for new models only, for new reports only. So then your existing models that you already built, existing reports and models will not change, right? They will still have the old behavior unless you consciously make a change to switch them to the new behavior. But then new models will have the different behaviors. So then at some point in the future, and we'll announce that, when that is ready, you will see that, hey, wait a minute, if I did exactly the same in this old model, when I reproduce exactly the same thing on the same data set with the same visuals, et cetera, everything the same, in this new model, there's a behavior change because our default will be the independent one in the future and not the coalesced one. You can still choose then to go back to the coalesced one if you want, but at some point in the future, we'll switch the default for new models only. So yes, I've seen some feedback on LinkedIn going like, whoa, you're changing everything about my DAX model and now all my reports will break. That is just simply not true. We're not breaking your reports. Anything you already built before we even introduced this option and until we ever change the automatic from coalesced to independent. So when we change the default, up until that point, anything you build will not change behavior unless you do something yourself manually to switch it from one to the other, right? So that I want to be very clear. We're not changing your models. We're not changing your report results. Your reports should return exactly the same with or without us shipping this feature today.
That's good to hear. I think people just need to hear it. And on the other hand, everybody is afraid of features they don't understand. That's why we, I think, have here Tatjana and Sean just to explain what are we actually talking about. Because a lot of people watching it now or watching it later, I think we'll start after our discussion. Jay will ask themselves, okay, they're changing something,
right?
But what is it actually?
Right.
I'm actually excited when we changed the default behavior to be independent, because trying to understand why Power BI returns the data that it does at the moment is very confusing. You think that you authored the expression correctly, like you expect one number and it returns different number, and understanding how it calculates that number is very confusing versus the independent behavior that we are introducing with this release is much more intuitive, like
more natural.
Yes, like more natural, and people will hopefully be less confused once we switch the behavior for all of the new models. We are gradually rolling it out to make sure that we are not causing any performance issues, that like all your reports are functioning perfectly with the independent behavior. And once all of that is tested in real life on really big models, we'll change the default.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a breaking behavior. It is a breaking behavior. So it indeed changes the result. So we do need to be careful rolling out this feature, which is why we designed this this model property flag.
Yeah. So I think Tatjana and Sean both raised very good points here, right? Like it is a definite big change. we want to be very careful to make sure we don't break anything you already built. But I also agree with Tatiana. The thing that it does if you switch it to independent actually makes more sense in my brain. And why is this? Is because if you think about like a simple example, you have let's say a sales table, just to make it very simple, right? A list of sales, and you filter that by 2 tables, right? So you have a sales table, you have a customer table, you have a date table. So customers, maybe they live in a certain country, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to filter customers to US, and I'm going to filter the year to 2024. Okay, so now I have 2 filters coming in onto the sales table from separate tables, right? So you expect the sales to show the stuff for customers from the US that bought stuff in 2024, right? Okay. Great.
Someone would expect that.
Yes. Those are what we call independent filters. Those are applied separately, right? With an and. Now here, the problem is, if we change the example a little bit to 2 filters coming from the same table, let's say you filter on both the country where the customer lives and maybe how many cars they have. Those filters coming from the same table today in the current behavior will be combined. So that means if there's, for example, nobody living outside the US that has more than 1 car, that option will not be included. Therefore, you will be missing data. Now, with the separate, when the filters are set to independent, it will actually resemble what happens if you have filters from 2 different tables. Because again, what we just did in the example, 2 different filters, we didn't combine at all. We just left them separately, as you would expect, right? Now with the 2 filters from the same table, we do a stupid trick to combine them and therefore accidentally sometimes kick out data. I'm arguing that when you switch it to independent, that behavior goes away, and it's more logical to think about. Like, no, you don't have to worry about, oh, wait, is this 2 filters from the same table or 2 filters from a different table? Because those 2 things now don't matter. They are mean exactly the same. They behave exactly the same. So I think in general, the behavior is more logical and more understandable.
Maybe I can share a screen. I actually, while Jay, you were talking, I found one example where I have sales data. It's slightly different.
Perfect.
I think Jay, you can open up my demo, because my demo is exactly showing the same thing. But
well, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on my Power BI desktop to wake up and allow me to show your demo. So
okay.
And Nicola, just
can take over in the meantime, and then we can hopefully go to your demo as well, Sean, at some point.
Nicola, just to welcome you back as well.
Yeah, apologize for being late. I was stuck. There is a football game happening in our small city, and then it's always like chaos. And I had to, deliver some package and totally forgot about the game. So apologize. But I see you're doing good. You are doing good without me.
Well, we're trying. We're surviving.
I just ran in
to explain this new feature, and when Jay is delivering something with his team, it's always complicated feature.
I try not to do that, August. But visual clouds is not complicated. Come on.
It solves complex problem, but the feature itself is very simple, right?
Yes, that's the idea. So, and this is the same. You have to kind of know about this to care about it. But again, I want to reiterate, if you've never heard of this problem, if you've never heard of AutoExist before, then you probably are not the target audience for this, and you can just go on with your happy life and you don't have to worry about this, right? But if you knew about AutoExist, if you've seen this before, this behavior, I'm convinced that with us shipping this, you will be very happy that we're giving you this flexibility. Mm-hmm. Anyway, with that, I think we can go to the demo that Shoshana has prepared.
Yeah. So right now on the screen, you should see 2 reports side by side, one called value filter behavior coalesced, another called value filter behavior independent. And the only thing that I changed in these reports is I changed that new property that we have on the semantic model that controls this filter behavior. And you see that I've selected this exactly the same values in the slicers. So both of the reports are showing data for 2022 and like sales of coffee and sandwich. So the new independent behavior, like when it's trying to compute total number of products sold, and let me show you expression for that measure. So what I'm doing in this expression is calculating sales of products across all of the years. And this number 10 is like more intuitive because, so like I filter for coffee and sandwich. So you see that there are 4 sales of coffee across the year and 6 sales of sandwiches across the years. And I'm getting value 10, which is 4 plus 6, which is correct. which is more intuitive to people versus the previous behavior that is more confusing, where I have exactly the same values. It is showing total number of products sold as 6, which is more difficult for people to understand how it computed this number 6. So that's why, like, we believe that this new behavior is less confusing, and that's why we want to make it default in the future.
So, and I think, Tatiana, can you zoom into that DAX expression a little bit, maybe? I don't know if you have a way to zoom into that, to make that font size a little bit bigger.
Let me
Control
open
plus,
that
maybe?
in Notepad.
Control and upper arrow maybe helps.
Well, or no,
Control.
whatever, something.
Yeah.
I think we were able to zoom. Anyway, so what I was trying to say is, you're right, Tatiana, but the kicker here is the fact that your DAX expression said, I want to see the sales for all of the years, right? That is what this DAX expression says. It basically says, calculate the sum of my sales across all the years. So this is what the DAX expression should return, right? It should always return the sum of the sales across all the years, regardless of any selection you made. Regardless if you put a filter on year 2022 or 2023 or 2024 or a combination of those, it should always return sales for all of the years, because that is what this expression says. No? We agree with that, no?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, great. Now, this same expression, as Tatiana has just shown, in the old behavior does not in fact follow this rule, and in fact returns not the sales for all the years. It returns the sales for the year that you had selected, right? As you can see, the number here that it's returning, the big number, is 6. Why is that? Because, well, we said coffee and sandwich. Okay, there's only sandwiches that were sold in 2022. That's the year that we selected. Therefore, a combination of those filters will then feed me a number of 6, which is counterintuitive, because didn't my DAX expression that we just agreed on have the rule that it would always return all the products sold?
Yeah.
Right? So, therefore, all the products sold in all the years, I should say, right? All the products that we selected in all the years. That's a better way of saying this. That is what this DAX expression does. It gives me the total sales for whatever products I've selected in all the years. That's the rule. Now, this rule is violated, if you will, with this the current behavior, where it does not, in fact, return the sales for the currently selected products in all the years. It does return the sales for the currently selected products in the selected year, which is not what we agreed upon that expression would mean, right? So you can see now that the behavior on the right is actually the proper behavior, because that indeed returns the sales for the selected products in all years, where this number is 10 and not 11 because we've selected just coffee and sandwich, not pastry, right? Because if we select all 3, then you will see that coffee and that this number will turn the same everywhere, right? Does make sense?
Yes, the more precise way to describe it is right now we have slicers on both year and the product. So by doing all of year, we are saying we are not going to pick up the year filter. I mean, the filter on the year column, but if you have any other filter in any other column, it is still going to pick it up. So if you set filters on both year and the product by doing all of year, we will still pick up filter on product. Now, if they are on the same table, what actually happens is we first apply the year and the product filters together because they are on the same table, which unfortunately in this particular data, it would mean there is only 2022 sandwich in there. There is no 2022 coffee, right? So by the time we wanted to pick up the filter on the product, it effectively loses a value, like it loses the coffee. It only preserves the sandwich. So now when we evaluate the measure, we are starting to pick up only the sandwich a product filter, not the coffee part. So that's why it ended up showing 6, not 10. So the feature work is really about we are trying to find a good way to recognize this and execute this so that they are no longer clustered or coalesced when the two value filters on the same tables are applied to the measure.
This is for the same table, but if we have like a star schema or something like that, it's the same behavior, or
if they are in if the filters
different tables
from different tables, then they are independent to begin with.
Right. So this is what I was trying to explain, right? So this then becomes more logical because now I don't have to worry about whether the filters are coming from 2 different tables or from 1. They are treated exactly the same in this new behavior that the option that we're giving, right? So if you switch it to independent, no matter whether these filters came from the same table or from separate tables, they are treated exactly the same. With the coalesced, they are treated differently. Therefore, it's more confusing. So, and if I had $1 for every single support ticket that we got for this,
so for example,
I was aware of, but Sean was involved in, I would not work anymore, right? Because basically I would retire.
Well, Jeffrey had more tickets than me, so
yes. But this is just a hot topic with customers, and there's a lot of customers that accidentally end up in this situation. Yes, if you had a star schema and everything came from separate tables and your star schema was perfect in the sense that a customer or a user would never be considering setting 2 filters on the same table, then yes, this behavior should never kick in. But I would argue even with a star schema, there's a big chance that users will set 2 filters on the same table, right? If you have a customer table, there's likely a country and a, I don't know, number of kids or number of cars or whatever else you track of that customer that you might want to filter, right? And then since Power BI makes it so easy to just, set filters on whatever, it's very easy for your user to run into this situation, even with a star schema.
Okay, yeah. Donald is, I need to show this, star schema.
Yes. And there's actually also, if you want to learn more about this, there's a blog that Jeffrey Wang wrote. I think he published it yesterday.
Can I put the link? Yeah, I had it open.
Yeah, if you can pull up the link and put it in the comments or whatever. If you really want to learn more about how this works, you can also just visit that. There we go. You put it in the chat. Perfect. Understanding the impact of value filter behavior. I would absolutely recommend you go read that. I have another demo, the one from Sean, but then I can share the screen and then Sean needs to guide me through that. So I'm happy to do that as well if you wanna see another demo of this behavior.
Yeah, sure.
Totally, totally.
So I mean, the first page is probably a duplicate of we have already seen. So we will probably just quickly go through it. The main purpose of my demo is to explain why we would even need to have this behavior. So here is a similar example here. I'm setting a color filter on the black and the blue, so it's it's the two columns in here, and then a size filter of 40 and 42, which is the two rows in here. So which like we are in the same situation where there is a particular color blue which has no sizes in here, right? So my measure is doing a regular measure of sum of cells, which like it returns a number, and no, it's at the top. It's at the top. There's
Sorry.
Yeah.
You can see it's not my demo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had the expression pasted in the text as well, but I mean in the text box. But yeah, sum of cells is just the sum of cells that you would imagine, right? So the color field. So the first card is the color filter. So it basically sets the filter to be a color equals black or blue. So what you would expect is it returns the two subtotals, the 4.13 plus the 39K. So it's around 4.17 million, right? And that is good. And just to show that we are indeed setting the filters correctly, if we set both size being 40 and 42, and the color being black and blue, we expect to sum the measure values of the intersecting part, which is around like 1.57 million. That is okay.
That makes sense.
The last card is really about we are putting the extra. I mean, it's another measure which is built upon the sum of cells. So this is the usual calculate all of the size. So we are trying to get rid of the size filter, but since we have a color filter, the color filter is still supposed to be present, right? We have the color equal a black or blue. So, but with the current setting being coalesced, when we put both size and the color filter, but the measure is asking to explicitly get rid of the size filter, we are not really just picking up the color filter. We are really picking up the color filter and the size filter interacted with each other and then projected to the color column, which unfortunately for this particular set of data, it makes a difference. Like we basically lose the blue color, and we are only aggregating on the black color.
Right.
And if we can switch to the second page, I want to explain a little bit about the reasoning why we need to apply filters like this. So basically, why we would want to have such an interaction between filters on the same table. So in here, I have like two different tables. Table one. So let's focus on the top left corner. We have table one and table two. These are just table data. Like there is no filters on that. I was just trying to show that they have the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and another column on each of the two tables, and they're just really just the value plus 1, the value plus 2 for demonstration purpose. Okay, so now let's say I have a visual trying to show the two columns from the two tables. Okay, so let's say from the right hand side I have like 3 cases. Like I'm showing the 2 primary keys, showing all the 4 columns, and then the 2 non-key columns. So now let's say Jay, could you just do some multi-selection on the scatter chart? So just control click any 2 points. Yeah. So we are control clicking. We are doing control clicking. So it's a multi-selection on. So what's interesting here is my scatter chart is on the 2 axes are coming from 2 different tables. Okay, my 2 axes are coming from 2 different tables. So if I am doing such a scatter chart, I am really doing like a table 1 equals 2 and table 2 equals 2, or table 1 equals 3 or table 2 equals 3. So like it's kind of like it's not a full it's not a cross drawing of the projection, like in technical terms. So basically, I cannot simply just apply this filter individually on each of the columns. That will not give me the correct result as if I'm applying this multi-selection as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one part. The other part is what am I going to do if, let's say, I am going to ask for so let's start from the examples one by one. Okay, so let's say the first case is, what if I wanted to just query the 2 columns from the selected columns themselves. So you will expect like 2, 2, and 3, 3 show up, right? You will not expect 2, 3, and 3, 2 show up. So that's very natural, right? And so going to the second example, what if I wanted to add a few more columns to it, like in addition to the two columns that are in the that I am doing the multi-selection, I also put more columns from the 2 tables. Mm-hmm. I don't even expect the things to explode. Right? I mean, sure. Like if you have 2 tuples that have like multiple values, it will like increase in size. But you still don't expect 2, 3 or 3, 2 tuples to show up, right? But now the more complicated scenario is the last example. So I don't even query for the original 2 columns. I'm only querying the 2 columns from the same set of tables, but from different set of columns. Mm-hmm. So then what do you expect to see, right? So it turns out that it is still the same situation, that we don't want to see tuples derived from 2, 3 and 3, 2. We only want to see tuples derived from 2, 2 and 3, 3. But this is a non-trivial thing to do, and if we are not really correlating the filter with the group bias, this cannot be done. Right? If we are not correlating the columns from the same table, basically the filters on the same table, like the filters on the, let's say, the table 1 PK, which is the filtering column, and the value plus 1, value plus 2, they are the group by columns. If they don't interact with each other, then value plus 1 will only pick up the filter on table 1. Value plus 2 will only pick up filter on table plus on the table 2. Oh. So then you will actually see a full cross join. You will see 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, and then project it to value plus 1 and value plus 3. And that's not what we want. So that is the underlying reason why we had this like if they are on the same table, then we are somehow trying to mix them up or like apply each other. This is the fundamental reason that we are trying to do it. But it turns out that after so many years, we realized that, after so many customer reports, we realized that, okay, we are doing this clustering a little bit too much.
Yeah,
a little bit too much that for some other cases, we are really clustering, but we are not supposed to, and they would return like a confusing result. So we are not going to change the behavior of this situation. So even with the value filter behavior being independent, this page is still going to keep like what is showing it today. This is not going to change. But the first page with our like calculate and the calculator or example, the third card will match the first card.
Can we switch that, or will that break your demo?
Just go ahead.
I mean, just do it live. Why not?
What can go wrong?
Yes, exactly. We're going off script here. So this is the it's now set to coalesced, right? Which is the current default, right? So if you have automatic, selected today, it's coalesced. If you have it to coalesced, it's the same, right? Which are default behavior, no? So you want me to switch this to independent, right, Sean?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna switch this to independent, if I can actually click. Let's see. Does it? Come on.
No, it's already done.
Oh,
You
it's still thinking
just switch back to the visual.
Sorry, it's my spare laptop, so I'm just making do here. Anyway, it's independent now, so I'm going back to the report. Look, as Sean predicted, these
it's
two
the
numbers now
same.
match up.
Yeah, I didn't change the visual. I didn't change the measure. Right? It's just this particular flag.
Oh, okay.
And if you go to
okay.
page 2, Sean predicted that this would still look the same on page 2.
You didn't
If
have
I then
all
do
these
the
measures.
cross select, it would still show the same.
Yeah.
So you're now seeing that, indeed, as Sean is saying, this behavior with this multi-select thing for which you originally introduced it is not impacted by this, but then the other behavior, which was a little bit overzealous, if you will, right? A little bit too much of an optimization, that is now being taken care of because we now have I would argue the expected behavior here in this case. Makes sense?
Yeah. Makes sense. Although I have to admit, I need to watch a recording of this stream again just to be able to pick up everything. Sorry, Sean, it's not on your side. So yeah, but some things to like better sync in our heads. At least
Yes.
I'm pretty sure for most of us, we used to work in one way for years. Now having this option is we need to get accustomed. But I think it's amazing that you guys provided a possibility to people to choose how they want to see the numbers display, how they want their filters to be applied. So yeah.
Yeah, it's more about flexibility. And as I've been trying, and I think all have been trying to say is like, if you've never heard of this, don't worry. You probably never even noticed, or you might have actually been impacted by it, but you might not have noticed, right? That is the worst case that could happen, right? Like you could have been in this situation that we overzealously filtered stuff out, and your reports were actually returning the wrong, or are actually returning the wrong results, but you never really noticed, right? You might be missing, as in was in this case, like $40,000 approximately. And you never checked the numbers. Could be, right? Because you just trusted us to do the math for you. Well,
Yeah.
now with this new behavior, you at least have an option to influence that and say, no, I actually want the other behavior, right? So you now have more flexibility to work on.
Yeah. We have one question from the audience. So Shafi asked, how can AutoExist be monitored or measured in Power BI for its impact on report performance?
That is a good question. How can it?
It is a good question indeed. Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, he had to leave. He had to leave.
Oh,
so,
okay. Sorry, I was sharing my screen, so I just didn't even see it happening. Sorry.
No worries.
This is a weird live stream today with like us joining halfway, you're joining halfway, and some mess. Anyway, how can we monitor this? Do we, guys?
There is a joking way, which is you can just, for every measure, you just do a +0, and you can see how bad the performance is.
That's I love this approach. Okay. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is there another way we can recommend?
I mean, because so AutoExist is kind of like a slightly different topic in here. So AutoExist is more of about we are doing the let me see how do I phrase that. It basically happens like unconditionally. Mm-hmm. So it's not really something that I mean, if you want to measure, you probably want to compare it with something, right? It really doesn't really matter if like something is unconditional, and then you talk about the impact of it or whatsoever. But really, like today, we don't have an option to auto exist off at this point? I mean, if you really want, you can maybe like restructure your data so that like all the columns come from different tables, so they are not interacting with each other, sort of deal. But I mean, it's not like a apple to apple comparison anymore. So yeah.
Okay. Well, so I guess the answer is it depends, as always.
As always.
Yeah, I would just, if you switch this around to independent, I think you will see more sensible results, right? The stuff that it does will be more explainable to your users, but yeah, you should be
with
careful.
No perf impact, hopefully.
No perf impact, but that's also why we're doing this in public preview, right? Because we don't know for sure what the perf impact is going to be. In our tests, we have not seen any that I'm aware of. But hey, we cannot test for all situations out there. We don't know what all of you built. You might have done some really interesting stuff that we didn't think of. Very cool. I mean, every day that we talk to users, we learn about very cool stuff that people do with our product that we go like, okay, I would never have thought of doing this, right? So that's also why we're doing this in public preview, to go like, hey, try this, test it, see if this works. Do you see any problems? Let us know, because this is the time for us to still change our ways. And that's why we didn't go big bang and go like, no, this is now the new behavior, right? We believe this is the right behavior going forward. But that's why we're doing this out of the open, saying, we're now giving you the option, please try it and see if you can break it. Because if you break it, then we haven't catered for all the situations that you design or you built.
Sure. I also wanted to mention that it's just in preview, so yeah, a lot of things will about to come until it goes to GA.
Right, and as I said, like we've been saying, like we believe still that the new behavior, the independent behavior, is the better behavior. It's easier to explain, as Tatjana's demo has easily shown. Right? We believe that's the right behavior, and unless we get feedback from you all telling us like, no, this is wrong because blah 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 blah, this situation, or my reports are slowing down in this new behavior or something, unless we find something like that, then at some point in the future we will switch the automatic behavior, the default behavior, to independent for new models only, right? Not for existing ones, for new ones. And we will then announce that in our blog and say, hey, this is now coming by this date. It will be for new models. It will be independent. So you're aware. And if you don't like that, this is your opportunity to show us why that is the wrong choice.
I hope everyone understood.
I hope
the audience here. I hope so. Yeah.
This is not easy stuff, but this is the part of the life that we, like Tatjana, Sean, myself, but definitely those two are part of every day. Like, can you imagine how tired they are at the end of the day with their brains? My brain is fried after this already, almost. Right? Imagine being part of this all day, every day. It's a tough job.
I can imagine.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah,
I think if people struggle understanding it, the new behavior is actually relatively easy to understand, because like you say that you want to, for example, see data across all years, go across all colors. Was it like in Sean's demo? Like the number that you see on the screen just makes sense. I think where people struggle is understanding why previously they were getting different number. That is confusing part.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. So yeah, I know, Nicola, we said this before when we picked the topic, right? This is going to be a hard one. It's one of the more technical, or by far one of the more technical ones that we ever did, I think, on this live stream. But you guys picked the topic, so
but I love that we picked up this topic. So it's nice to talk about cool visualizations and this stuff, but sometimes we need to make our hand to dig deep and make our hands dirty. So I love this topic. And I would like to thank both Tatjana and Sean for joining us for this live stream and explaining in detail really what is the impact and how this feature will affect all of us in the end. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to have this kind of capability now in the product, and it's also great that we get to talk to the actual people that built this. Right?
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
We also see not just the usual suspects of the people you see always.
Yeah.
You actually see the people that actually built this stuff. So,
Exactly.
Sharing that, there's actual rock stars behind the scenes that you don't.
Yeah,
see
that's great to have like real people who were working on this feature. Yeah,
I am
absolutely.
not real. I don't exist. I'm just AI. So.
You are co-host, so I don't count you. You're one of us. So yeah, totally.
Do you want to wrap this up with
yes, slowly wrapping up. If you don't, there are no more questions from the audience as far as I can see. And if you don't have, guys, any more demos, then yes, I would like to thank again Tatiana and Sean for joining us and showing this new cool feature in real time, in live demo. So kudos for that. Yeah, I know with live demos it's always tricky, but you did a great job. And of course, Jay, thanks to you for being once more an amazing co-host for our live stream. Yeah, that's from my side, and also thanks to everyone in the audience for joining us and hanging out. And yeah, next month new release. Yeah, all the fuss,
like people being late, Nicola, me having issues joining, Sean not having a camera on. It was a bit messy today, but hopefully you'll.
But demos work. So if you have to choose, like if everything is if anything needs to work, those were demos. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Good. Well,
thanks everyone, and yeah, see you next month.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.